The Chinese Defense Ministry expressed its concern over the transit of the Taiwan Strait by the guided missile destroyer USS Kidd, which was joined by the Coast Guard cutter Monroe after completing joint exercises with the Japan Coast Guard. The two U.S. vessels sailed the 100-mile strait that separates Taiwan from the mainland of China. China issued a statement protesting the transit. As per the Associated Press, Chinese statement said, "We express firm opposition and strong condemnation." In this video, Defense Updates analyzes why China's rattled by the U.S. Navy and Coast Guard's joint transit of the Taiwan Strait. Let's get into the details. This video is sponsored by War Thunder. If you are, like us, fascinated by military vehicles and technology, I recommend you give War Thunder a try. It's a military vehicle combat game which you can download and play for free on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One with cross-platform support. It has a huge variety of more than 1,200 playable aircraft, tanks, helicopters, and ships from the 1930s to the 1990s, which you can take to battle on land, in the air, and at sea on more than 80 theaters of war. War Thunder's been kind enough to offer all Defense Updates viewers a special bonus, which will grant you a free premium tank, aircraft, or ship, and 3 days of premium account time for registering using our link in the description below. So take the plunge and join more than 20 million players from around the world. The U.S. authorities highlighted that the vessels were operating in international water following international law. The U.S. Navy also issued photos of the transit along with a brief press release. The statement added, "The ship's lawful transit through the Taiwan Strait demonstrates the U.S. commitment to a free and open Indo-Pacific. The United States military flies, sails, and operates wherever international law allows." The U.S. has been conducting freedom of navigation operations throughout the South China Sea for several years. China sees Taiwan as a breakaway province and long called for reunification. It doesn't recognize the international sovereignty of Taiwan and refers to all actions towards the island as internal affairs. The Chinese Defense Ministry statement said, "Taiwan is an inalienable part of China. The relation between Taiwan and the United States is unofficial and informal and is governed by the Taiwan Relations Act. The Taiwan Relations Act is designed to maintain ambiguity and does not state if the USA will or will not intervene militarily if China attacks or invades Taiwan. Under the Act, the U.S. is obligated to sell arms of a defensive character to Taiwan. China also continues to lay claim on the South China Sea. The statement says, regarding the South China Sea issue, China has indisputable sovereignty over the South China Sea islands and their adjacent waters. China is committed to resolving relevant disputes through negotiations and consultations with the countries directly concerned on the basis of respecting historical facts and international law. In this context, it's to be noted that on July 12, 2016, judges at the Hague Tribunal completely rejected China's claims over the waters and stated that China's claim that it enjoyed historical rights over the South China Sea is incorrect. USS Kidd DDG-100 is an Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyer in the United States Navy. Arleigh Burke-class warships were designed as multi-mission destroyers capable of anti-aircraft warfare (AAW), anti-submarine warfare (ASW), and anti-surface warfare (ASUW). USS Kidd, being an Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, is among the largest destroyers built in the United States, having an overall length of 509 feet, or 155 meters, and a displacement of about 9,200 tons. It's equipped with a large number of sensors which includes the computer-controlled ANSPY-1A phased array radar, which is part of Aegis system, AN-SQS-53C active sonar, as well as AN-SQR-19 tactical towed array sonar. Also, USS Kidd is a heavily armed warship. It has, in total, 96 cells, Mark 41 Vertical Launch System (VLS), divided into two blocks of 32 and 64 cells. These can be configured with the combination of several types of weapons, like SM-6 for anti-air warfare and anti-ship roll, Tomahawk for land attack, VL ASROC for anti-submarine operations, and ESSM for the anti-missile role. USS Kidd also has two Mark 141 Harpoon missile launchers for anti-ship role. Two Mark 32 triple torpedo tubes are present, launching Mark 46 or Mark 50 torpedoes. Other weapons include a long-range naval gun, multiple close-in weapon systems, and it has the capacity to accommodate two MH-60R Seahawk LAMPS 3 helicopters for anti-submarine warfare. U.S. CGC Monroe WMSL 755 is the sixth Legend-class cutter of the United States Coast Guard. The vessel has a length of 418 feet or 127 meters, a speed of 32 miles per hour or 52 kilometers per hour, and a range of 13,800 miles or 22,000 kilometers. The Monroe was recently dispatched from its home base in California to make a tour of Asia. As per the U.S. Coast Guard, it's part of its routine international training exercises. Viewers may note that earlier this year, the U.S. and Taiwanese Coast Guards signed a joint agreement of support. China recently conducted its own training exercises near Taiwan. Its incursions into Taiwanese airspace has increased many folds. In recent months, China has also increased its level of activity in the South China Sea. It's militarized several islands in the region by installing long-range military radars, air defense systems, and anti-ship missile batteries. U.S. Navy and Coast Guard's joint transit is a clear message to China that the U.S. will continue to oppose its hegemonic designs in the region. The U.S. Navy remains to be the strongest naval force. It has the resources to challenge China, and this is exactly what's being done, much to the dismay of China. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your feedback in the comment section. This will help us improve.